I am going to save, or at least lend a helping hand to the UFC heavyweight division, which is just in free fall right now. The rankings at heavyweight just had Don'Tale Mayes at number 15. There's some prospects in the weight class. You got Rizvan Kuniev, you got Mario Pinto, Talison Teixeira, but we need more. We need more. There's like 25 fighters on the heavyweight roster. They need more fighters, and they need exciting fighters. They don't need just decisionating blobs on the UFC heavyweight division roster. They need guys that are going to go out there, put on fun fights, that are finishers, that are kill or be killed, and that are going to go out there and actually put on heavyweight fights. You look up heavyweight fight, you go to YouTube, you're going to see knockouts, you're going to see finishes, you're going to see people going to sleep. The UFC in 2025, that is not the case. We have blobs that are not putting people to sleep, that are taking you down, and they're holding you, that are jabbing and 1-2ing and staying at range and leg kicking. That's a disgrace to the humankind and all of UFC fans around the world. So we're going to be, introducing these 8 fighters to the UFC roster right now. Add them immediately. I don't care if one of them is only 3 fights of experience as an MMA fighter. Just add them to the roster. 12 and 12 of them. Give them the base salary and have them put on a show. Have them bring back heavyweight to a little bit of the glory days of knockouts, of round 1 finishes, of 1-minute heavyweight fights. That is what we want. When we see a heavyweight fight on the card, we want knockouts. We want finishes. We want blood. Ladies and gentlemen, these are the 8 I want. These are the 8 I want. As of right now, these are the 8 I want. There's more. There's more. I can make a separate video and add like 20 UFC heavyweights, but these are 8 solid ones. Number 1, Mario Piazon, 26 years old, very young, very, very young, 8-0. 10-0, but 2 of those aren't counted on Tapology. They said the record is ineligible for whatever reason. Started his career with 3 round 1 knockouts, got 1 decision, 2 round 1 knockouts, and then got a second round knockout after a no contest win. Dude's a knockout guy. 6 knockout wins, 1 decision, and 1 disqualification. 26 years old, from Brazil, not super, super big, not super, super blobby. Put him in. Put him in. Give him a fight with literally anyone in the heavyweight division and just have them have a very, very fun fight. We got Magomed Saidov, 7-0, 29 years old, in his prime. In his prime, from Moscow, Russia. 6'2" tall. Again, very, very young. All finishes, 2 submission wins, and 5 knockouts. And these aren't just any knockouts. Let's look. Head kick in round 2. Triangle choke over 1-0 guys. A spinning freaking wheel kick in 1:30. Another head kick. And guess what? Another head kick. This dude is an exciting guy to watch in the heavyweight division. He beat Leonardo Guimaraes, another knockout in round number 2. This dude is not just one of those heavyweights that's going forward and jabbing a 1-2 and you're just going to hold you on the floor. He's knocking people out. Not with just the hands. He's athletic enough to go up to the head as well against a 5-0 guy. 1-0, 1-0, 1-0, 2-2. These aren't horrible record guys on the regional scene. His only loss is as an amateur against Rizvan Kuniev. That's it. Rizvan Kuniev beat him on the regional scene as an amateur many, many years ago. He trains with Gore, who is the coach of like Shara Magomedov and a lot of other great strikers inside of the UFC. Get this man in there. He's a light heavyweight size. So he's telling me, I was in the DMs with him the other day, and he was telling me he's more of a light heavyweight, but I honestly urge him to move up to the heavyweight division because of how many slow, blobby fighters there are. He just needs to defend their takedowns and outspeed them and kick their faces and body at range, walk them into a big shot, and knock them out. This dude would be a problem in the UFC heavyweight division right now. 29 years old, still getting better, still improving, from Russia, but a striker like Shara Magomedov, trained by Shara's coach, training with Shara Magomedov, undefeated like Shara was, and he's a Russian striker. Let's do it. Bring him in the UFC right the blank now. Then we have Adriadru. I don't know how to say that name. I'm not a very smart guy. 6-0, 6'7" tall, from Poland, Muay Thai, and kickboxer. That's all I want to see out of a heavyweight, really, is a very, very giant human being in his prime, 32 years of age. Again, very tall, 6-0. He's a Muay Thai kickboxing type of guy. And we look at his record here. The whole thing is filled with kickboxing and boxing and Muay Thai belts. And they're not just any random, kickboxing bout. He's beating Badr Hari. Look up who Badr Hari is. That's a legit guy in the world of kickboxing. He beat him with a left head kick a few years ago. Joined in and started competing in MMA in 2022. Third round knockout. Decision win. One decision win. That's it. I'm guessing this guy was probably wrestling and grappling him. And since then, he got a submission win. Knocked out a guy in 55 seconds. Knocked out an undefeated 3-0 guy in 14 seconds, who is also a pro boxer. And then, in 25 seconds, beat Mateusz Scheffel. 25 seconds. And if you're wondering, who is this guy? Mateusz Scheffel. Well, I could just say this right off the bat. 2 or 3 years ago, he dominated Bruno Capoloza in the striking. Dominated Bruno Capoloza. This dude, former PFL champion, beat Ante Delia twice, beat Stuart Austin as well, as the only guy to beat Tom Aspinall. And this man goes out there and dismantles him faster than anybody ever has before. Renan Ferreira took 50 seconds. Adrian did it in half the time. In half the time. He's a kickboxing beast. He's a finisher. He's powerful. He's tall. He's in his prime. Get this man to the mother-blanking UFC. Boris Mbarga. He is a light heavyweight, but he fights in the heavyweight division sometimes. Again, I love when we get light heavyweights that want to fight in the heavyweight division, because they are just so athletic, so fast, and they're able to just outspeed and outmove the blobs and knock them out. They don't have to cut weight, so they're fed, they're healthy, and they're as big as they're going to be. 230, 240. And he's a finisher. All round one wins, except for one in round number 3. A 6-2 guy he knocked out in a round. 1 minute. Beat Rafael Pazoa, former UFC fighter, in his last fight in the heavyweight division in 2 minutes. And beat an undefeated guy in round 3. Undefeated as an amateur as well, with only 2 fights going to a decision. All the rest, knockouts. All the rest, knockouts. He's only been fighting since 2022. And he's active as heck. 13 fights since 2022. That is 3 years and 13 fights. He's active. He's powerful. He's good on the ground as well. He's young. He's fast. He's athletic. Ladies and gentlemen, he's Belgian. It's another guy you can have for that side of the world as well. Then we got Alan Fry. Alan Fry. All of these guys are from other countries. We got Brazil. We got Russia. A Russian striker. We got Poland. A Polish striker. We got Belgium. Then we got America. We gotta have some Americans in here. It is the heavyweight division of the UFC after all. And AJ Fry, I actually know. I've seen him in real life. He fights in my state of North Carolina. But he's not bad at all. Round 1 knockout in 12 seconds in his debut, which is insane. 3rd round knockout, winning record. Round 2 knockout against an undefeated guy, and then another round 1 knockout earlier in January. I believe, give him 1 or 2 more fights, get to 6-0, get him a good, experienced guy on the regional scene. He's only 26 years old. Only 26. He's 6'4", 100% finish rate. I like him. I like him a lot. 26 years old is great for the heavyweight division. He's athletic. He moves good. He's disciplined. And again, he's a finisher. He's a finisher. Let's see what happens. But I think that's another good guy to definitely add to the UFC roster to make it a little bit fun. Azamat Nuftalayev. We're going all the countries today. We got Uzbekistan here, 16-1-1. The most experienced fighter on this list. in his prime. 31 years old. He's 6'1" tall, and he's a finisher. 11 knockout wins, 8 of them in round 1. 3 submission wins, 2 of them in round 1. Coming off 4 wins in a row. Referee stoppage, rear naked, ground and pound TKO, and a second round TKO. 3 of them had a winning record, 1 of them didn't, but they're experienced guys. 15-4, 11-8, 7-4. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. And the only loss before that was Slim Trabelsi. And I would add Slim Trabelsi to the UFC roster, and he would be on this list, but unfortunately he is in and signed to the PFL Bellator. Unfortunately, 8-0, he would totally be added to the UFC if it was up to me, if he wasn't in the PFL right now. But that's his only loss, and other than that, the dude finishes everybody. The guy just finishes everybody. So Azamat Nurtalayev, good representation for Uzbekistan. Great record. Put him on any card. Do him versus Magomed Saidov and see what happens. Do Alan Fry versus Maria Piazon. See what happens. Do Adrian Wierzozek and Boris Mbarga in the UFC in Europe on the UFC London card. Put it on the main card. That's a great fight. And we move on to another American. This is our only duplicate. Or no, we have 3 Americans, don't we? All right, we have 3 Americans. All the rest are other unique countries. But we got Bailey Schofinger, another young up-and-comer, 27 years old, and coming off his first loss on the Contender Series to Danilo Voyedvoykin. He had a bad game plan. He went to strike with Danilo a little bit in that fight, which wasn't smart, which was not smart. He's a wrestler and he's a grappler, and he's a very, very good one. For the heavyweight division, he is how big? 230 pounds. So he's a very small heavyweight compared to some of the 260-pound ones. But he's fast, he's agile, he's athletic, and he's like the Jalton Almeida, American version. Just a little bit worse. But he's exciting and he's a finisher. No fights going to round 3. The longest fight was Greg Velasco, and he ground and pound TKO'd the heck out of him. In that fight, rear nakeds, ground and pound TKOs, knockouts. This is exciting stuff you definitely want to watch in the UFC. And even his loss got knocked out the heavyweight fashion. He's having a fight come up, CFFC 141 main event with Anthony Guracio. I don't know a lot about Guracio, but he's 30 years old. He'll be 31 after the fight is over, about in his prime. Round 1 guillotine, left hook knockout, and then another round 1 knockout over 2 1-0 guys. If he wins and beats Bailey, one of my guys on the list, add Anthony to the UFC. Why not? 4-0. Add him. He's a finisher and he's a heavyweight. Let's actually put fights. His literal, what is it? Is his nickname the Brawler? Is that his actual nickname? Where did I see that? Foundation style is brawling. Get this dude in the UFC. So either way, winner here. Bailey will be 6-1. Get him on the Contender Series. Guracio, get him on the Contender Series. Are ready to fight short notice versus anybody in the UFC. They'll put on a fun fight for sure. Joel Faglier. I don't know if I'm saying that wrong or if I'll get canceled for saying it that way. But 3-0 and 24 years old. He is young. He's 8-0 as an amateur. All finishes except for 1 decision win. Becomes a pro in 2024. Last year. Wins the custom rules bout in 41 seconds. Gets an armbar against a 23 fight veteran, Cameron Graham. This dude has been fighting forever. Armbars him in a round. Beats Omar El Salah. 2-0 undefeated guy right here, who isn't bad in his own right. He's 5-1 as an amateur and was 2-0 at the time as a pro. He went out there, destroyed him, rear naked at him. And then coming off a win, very, very recent, arm triangle in a round. This dude's good. This dude is good. Beating a lot of solid guys, amateur career, a lot of experience there. Been fighting since he was 19 years old. Give him one more fight, get a win, and we can add all of these guys to the UFC and really save the heavyweight division. I know, don't mind the blurriness of these 2 photos, but all of them are good. They're either undefeated or their only loss is a knockout. Win or lose, these guys put on shows for the heavyweight division. Only 2 of them could definitely fight at light heavyweight, in Barga and Magomed Saidov. But I'd love to see them at heavyweight. Just use their speed and athleticness to win. But we shall see, though. We shall see. Heavyweight, if you want to help, if you want to save your weight class, if you want to at least help it, out a little bit, add these guys. Thank you guys for watching. See you in the next one.